Welcome back to my channel, where this is the very first round of 3 versus me, where I select 3 palettes from my collection and try them again and see if they stay in my collection or if I will declutter them. The very first round is really fun because I do have 3 interesting palettes. I will blend in 2 looks I did already with the palettes over the week, and we will do 1 look together, and then at the end I will tell you if I like the palette, if I don't like it, if I will declutter it or if I won't. And if you want to see more about this and you like this, then stay tuned, keep on watching. I upload 3 times a week. Just so you know, this will be a totally like casual, not fuss makeup video in general. I don't have earrings on, I just have a little bit of makeup, just a little bit of concealer, blush, highlighter, and of course lips and eyebrows. And in this video there will be no false lashes, because for what? No, it is just I want to test out those palettes. I may said that in the intro before. I want to try those palettes and see if I like them or not. You did saw my box reorganization, and those are palettes I do want to test out again, see if I want to bring them in 2022. And like I said, this one is one of those. I did do 2 looks with it already this week. I'm not capable of filming all the looks because normally I need to be ready quite early, so this one is just, you know, so it goes faster. But I will do with all of the palettes I will use in this video. I will do at least 1 look with you together. A totally casual video and review and make a little tutorial about the BH Cosmetics Bff Palette. This one is with Better Declutter, Alina Moore and Anna Kohler. Don't know any of these people. This is the palette itself. It is whole collection, or it was a whole collection. I don't think if you can get this anymore or not, but I do have it in my collection. And this is the inside. You can definitely see it's a quite neutral palette, and we will go in today with the more orangey route. I will do look with you a little tutorial, and then I will tell you about the 2 looks I did off camera with you, and then I will talk to you about if I will keep this in my collection or not. So let's start it. I did already prime my eyes, and I used the first shade, no, this one, the first shade to set everything. The shade is quite nice for my skin tone at least, so that's it. I will go in with Shy as the next step. Just put it on a fluffy brush to see if I have a mirror or not. Maybe. Today we will be going into the more orangey route, because the oranges I didn't test out, or I didn't test out quite good. So this will be it. Yeah, just a small base, nothing expensive. Nothing expensive, like if anyone. The next I will go in with Fire, which is the straight up orange in the palette, and just use this to deepen up the crease a little bit. Like I said, when we are finished, I will tell you a little bit about the previous looks. We'll blend them in. They are quite neutral, of course, because the whole palette is quite neutral, but I thought, well, why not, you know? And like I said, I will test this out a little bit further. That's about that. I will use a smaller brush. I will use a really pretty shimmer on the lid, and yeah, I will use the I will use the shade Beauty, which is the warm brown, warm deeper brown, to deepen up the whole look before we go in with a shimmer. It's quite powdery too. Like so. So this is the base for the look. It does have a lot of warmth because we used orange, and I want to use the orangey shimmer shade. You can definitely see it's a gold to orange shimmer on the lid. This is the shade Amour. We'll use it just on a brush, nothing fancy or anything like this, and without spraying or anything. Like this. This is really pretty though. And then, really pretty. And then we will use, I think then we will use all that glitters, which is this shade, just to use in the inner corners. I will use the same brush, just clean it up a little bit. And then we use this in the inner corners. Like so. Now I will do a little bit of mascara. That's the only thing I will do for this look. And then we talk about the other looks and if I like the palette, if I will keep it or not. This is me with mascara. I know it's not a big of a difference. Let's talk about all the looks I did and tell you if I like it or not. The palette does have a mirror when you see here. Like I said, this is the palette. It is quite neutral. It does have some oranges, a pink, like one really deep tone. Like I said, I used now the orangey shades and I do love the look. In my last, we'll scooch a little bit here. In my first look, I did use all the brown shades with it. This was with the deepest brown and the other browns as well. And I used one of the lighter shimmer on my lid. I did like the look, was really kind of nice. The second look, I used the shade Rosy, which is the only rose shade in the whole palette. And then I used Deep Love to deepen the shade up. And I used Alina, which is the more rosy shimmer shade on the lid. And I used all the glitters, I think, or champagne in the inner corner. I think all the glitters as well. So you definitely see the looks were quite soft. Like this is a little bit more outgoing or a little bit more my speed, to be honest. I used all of the shades. Yes, I did. I used all of the shades in these three looks itself. And let's talk about the palette. I don't know if you will see this video before or after my palette declutter. If it is before, you get a little bit of a heads up about the palette, if I keep them or not. If it's after, you already know if I decluttered it or not. I will declutter this palette. I don't get why there is this rose shade in it. I miss a deeper rosy shade. You just combine them with the browns. It's just a brown palette. I don't get why those shimmers, like this one, and this one, they are quite similar, to be honest. I wish that they were more, like this one would be more gold, this one would be more pink. Then I think this would be way more cohesive. I think these are quite similar, and I don't like that you just have this one rose shade. I would have loved to have like a little bit deeper movie pink or pink in general. This one is a really cool tone brown, which is totally fine, but like I said, it doesn't pair well with some of the other shades. I mean, it's a good palette. I don't have any issues with the quality of the palette itself. I just think that this is not the excellent formula from BH Cosmetics. This is a good palette. I do think that these palettes in collaboration with some of the creators are not as good as other palettes they did. I love my Zodiac palettes. I do have the Zodiac and the Zodiac Love Signs. Those palettes are super creamy, highly pigmented mattes. You do have those really nicely baked shimmers that are just stunning. I don't have any problem with the matte or the shimmers in this one. They do blend out really nicely, but in general, I think that the quality is not as good, not as pigmented, not as stunning as in those palettes, to be honest. I think they are nice. It's a nice palette, to be honest. I am not grabbing this for any of the looks. I did today the orangey shades, like the orangey shades you see it on my eyes. They are stunning, but do I really grab just for the orangey shades in this palette when I do have other oranges in my collection? I won't. I just tell you, I won't. I hope I can find for this one a nice new home, one of my friends' families, or like I said, somebody. By the way, I did not buy this palette. I got it from Nikki, which is a lovely friend of mine. And she changed it with, we did some changes of palettes. So she gave me this, I gave her other palettes. And yeah. Like I said, it's a stunning palette. I think you definitely, if you have it, can do really nice looks with it. In my case, where I do have a lot of neutral palettes, this one is just not making the cut, to be honest. So this one will be decluttered in my collection. And yeah, that's the first palette for this video. Welcome back to the second palette that is on my vanity box that I need to try, and I did already 3 looks with it, and today we're doing the 4th look, and then I'm telling you how I feel about the palette and if I will keep it or not. The palette itself is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. It is a beautiful palette. It does have a good mirror, and this is the color scheme. It does have some purples, some like more cool toned shadows. It does have a lot of reddish and orangey tones, and the dark shade is this dark brown. And for me itself, just to begin with, I think the palette is stunning, but to be honest, I wished that they would go a little bit lighter, because these light shades here in this corner are not as light for my inner corner, because I'm just pale AF. And this one is working as a setting powder for my lid, but it's not the best, just so you know. Today I will start with this amethyst shade. This is the purple shade, and we go into the tutorial right now. I will start, I will start with the only matte purple in the whole palette, which is the amethyst shade, and we will do this all over the lid. The look will be not so high maintenance, so this will be fun. You could just leave it like this, but of course we will play with a few colors and also shimmers. So we will use the dark brown, the only like really dark shade in the whole palette, to deepen up this beautiful eye. After doing this, I will put a little bit of Twilight, which is the purple shimmer, on my lid. I will definitely spray the colors. I think that they have more impact if you do so. You can also use your finger, but I want to be a little bit precise, because I don't want to, you know, to come a lot to the dark brown. So that's what I want to do. As a last step, I will use Angelic, which is the more pinky goldish shade in my inner corner. It's the only shade that fits if you don't want to have a gold, or a cool toned, which could be cashmere as well. But I will use Angelic in my inner corners, and then I will finish this look and we'll see us with how I feel about the palette. So let's come to the conclusion. This is my finished look, and I absolutely love it. I did test out the palette 4 times, not just 3 times, but 4 times, because there is a lot of palette you can use. I will blend in some swatches here for you. I think the colors are stunning. I did play it with the more brownish shade and did this look. I did also try with the more reddish shade and did this look, and I also tried with the more cool tone shade, which is, to be honest, just this one, and then Cashmere, which is the coolest of the whole. And today we played with the purple. I think this palette is beautiful, to be honest, and I have to say, even though it's not the perfect colors for me, not quite, I do love the variety I get with this palette. Like, I don't had any problems with staying power. I did loved all five of the looks, all four of the looks. I do love this look quite a lot, and I think this one is a really nice companion palette to the Juvia's Place, the Saharan 2. Like, you can definitely see they do give up the same vibe in comparison with the darkest shades. You do have, in this one, you do have 3 matte dark shades and then a lot of light tones and shimmers. And I think this palette will be like a stunning palette together with this one, to be honest. And for me, that's a reason I will keep this one. I'm surprised as well. I will keep this one in my collection, and like I said, we'll use it in companion with this one. Now you can definitely see the next palette that is in my palette declutter or trying out again in this moment. The last palette in this round will be my Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. This one is the original palette that released in 2018, where the formula is the same. Now, if you buy this now at Morphe, they changed the formula, and also it's not vegan anymore. So just so you know, if you have the original, this is like I said, from 2018. This has a really great formula, but if you try the palette now, today, on Morphe's site, it still exists. They changed the formula, and it's not vegan anymore. So if that is important to you, then don't buy it, just so you know. This is the palette. It is neutral leaning palette with some pops of color. Like, you do have a yellow, a red, you know, you do have some variety. It goes from really light to really deep. You have to keep in mind those shades are both shimmers, and I have already done 2 looks with it. One is more of a neutral look and the other one is more of a pinky look. I will try to blend this in, and we will do a 3rd look with it, and then I will tell you if I want to keep it or not. Like I said, I already did try some of the looks. They were more neutral, a little more depending on the palette, more neutral. Like I said, this round is more neutral. But for the last look, I do want to play a little bit with the colors. You do have a shimmer teal, matte teal, a dark green, and shimmer, and also a dark green, as well as a blue shimmer and a purple shimmer. You do have also some reds and, you know, oranges, one yellow and the gold. I try to swatch them for you, but like I said, today I want to play a little bit with the color, and so let's do this. To be honest, I never played with the colors so much in the palette, so I will start with the teal shade, and it's a matte shade, and just put that all over in my crease, you know, and then we go from there, I would say. Scooch you in a little bit closer. Let's try to deepen up the teal with the dark green. Never tried that, like I said, but let's hope for the best and see if they build quite well on each other. This needed a little building, but you definitely can see it is really nice and pretty. And now I want to make it a little bit more fun and go into the blue shade, like this royal blue, and put it all over the lid. It's more of a bluish purple. Well, we do it anyways. I don't care. Anyways, and put it here. Just a little bit on the lid. Can definitely see it does work. I think for this one I would definitely want to use a little bit of setting spray. So wait a sec. I just sprayed it a little bit with water, and let's try again. If you ask yourself why the lighting is changing, my lights, the battery of my lights are now low. So let's do like this. This is so pretty, isn't it? I will go in another shade. Wait a sec. To connect the dark green and the blue, I will use the green shimmer in the palette. I also will spray it and try to apply that so that they mix a little bit and it's not like green blue. So let's apply a little bit of the dark green shimmer. This is so pretty. You can see it tones down a little bit the blue, and it mixes a little bit with the blue, so it's not as strange looking. I also mixed a little bit of the blue into the dark green, so they mix a little bit and it looks more cohesive. And now for the inner part of my lid, I want to use, of course, the teal shade. Like, it's a shimmer teal. I will also spray it and then we apply it together. By the way, it is still the same brush. I just clean it out with one of those cleaning sponges in between. Now put this onto the inner part of my eye and blend it a little bit into the blue. You can see this is a stunning color. Such a stunning color. Such a stunning color. To be honest, with this palette and the colors I am choosing, you should definitely start with the eyes first, because fallout and hell. But we will go on to the lower lash line like nothing happened, and we will use the green shade to use as the first shade on the lower lash line. Just use it here on the outer corner, like I said. Just to connect the lower lash line with the upper lash, where we did also use the dark green. I also want to use the more red shade in the palette and then fade into yellow. I think that's a plan. Let's try that. Put in a little bit of the reddish shade. Just put it here. This could have been such a nice fall makeup, and then I put in Caribbean. Just saying. And then in the inner or more inner corner, I would go in with the yellow from the palette and put it here. Just so we connect both. Like the reddish brown, then the yellow. I know it looks a little bit deeper, of course, because we didn't put down a base or anything. And I would say in the inner corner, where now the turquoise is, I would put in the second lightest shimmer, just so we brighten up a little bit the eye. Yeah. That's so pretty. Let me finish the look and then we'll see us in a sec. So this is the finished look. It is quite colorful and I do love that. The shadows worked beautifully, I have to say. Like I said, I do have fallout, and if you see some blue or dark green on my eyes or face, it's because of the palette. I should have done my eye makeup first and then the face makeup, but we didn't do that, so we're good. Let's talk about the palette. I do love the quality of the palette. The quality is amazing. Like I said, if you buy it now, it has a different quality because they changed the formula. This one, like I said, I bought in 2018 at around the release, if I'm not mistaken. I think I bought it on release from the Morphe store online. It is a stunning palette. You do have a lot of brownish tones. You do have a lot of or you have some colors to play with if you want to, you know, go more into the neutral route and just have a few colors. Like I said, this look is the most colorful I ever got with this palette, and I have to say it looks stunning. You didn't have to use the blue, you could just use the teals and the dark green, would have looked beautifully. Now, the question is, will I declutter this or not? The answer is, yes, I will declutter this. I thought about this, and I have to say, I have to force myself to use it because it is big. It is, I think, 35 shadows. This is a lot of shadow. The problem I do have with it, I wouldn't mind maybe the size if the colors wouldn't be so close. You know, these three shades are almost identical, and I do mean, yes, they do have difference between them, and none of the shades is a dupe for another shade. But the problem is, like, look at those shades. They look almost identical. And the problem I do have is when I sit down and want to do my makeup, I need to find the shade I want to use, and it's not as simple as you may think. You know, because this palette is so huge, you need a lot of time to find the shade you want to use. And I didn't realize this. And like I said, I have the palette since 2018. I didn't realize that they even have like a more pinky brown shade. I didn't realize it because it, you know, it doesn't show in compared to all the other shades. I think if they would, you know, if they downsized the palette and froze some of the browns out, I would have loved this palette if they would downsize it and condense a little bit the brown shades. I think you do have a good variety even in color, but on the other hand, I do have to say you have a purple, but no like matte purple with it. And so for me, sometimes it is really difficult to choose colors that will go together in the palette. Like I said, you have like 20 different brown tones. You do have here a row with pink shimmers. They are not the same, but they do look quite similar. So I would have loved that she chose maybe one or two of those, and maybe those two, those two shimmer shades are almost identical. Yes, one is more, they're almost identical. Yes, this one is more yellow, this one is a little bit more cool tone, but I would have loved to have maybe a really, really light blue or really, really light purple. You do have a light pink in it, but like I said, it would have been more cohesive if she did that. So for me, this is really, really, really a great palette. It is a beautiful palette. The quality is nice, but I don't want to keep it in my collection anymore because it's not working for me. And it's just me. If you have the palette and you love it, great. I did see a lot of people that have the palette and they almost emptied it. You know, I love that for you. Like I said, or like these two brown tones, like this one and this one, they almost look identical. Are they different? Yes. Do someone care? No. So this one I will declutter as well. So in this round of 3 versus me, I just keep 1 palette and 2 will be decluttered. Thanks for watching this new format from me. I hope you like it. It's not the newest idea ever, like I said, but for me it's just fun to play with all these palettes and see if I do like them or not. And yeah, I hope you liked it as well. Would you keep one of those palettes? Please leave it down in the comments. And I will see you in the next video, and if you want to join my channel, please subscribe. It's free. I would really appreciate it. I upload 3 times a week, and we see us next time. Bye bye, guys.